In a world full of movie podcasts, here is one more. Welcome to Defend Your Movie with Sean Donnelly.
The time has come again. The champion must stand. It can only be one of us. Victoria! So stand up and fight, my friend. There's a title you must defend. Shut it on, bring it to me. Defend your movie.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Defend Your Movie. I am your host, Sean Donnelly, joined by my co-host, Farrah Brooke, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, people. Hi.
Are you excited to be back, Farrah?
So excited.
Technically, you were gone for a week. Well, actually, for 3 weeks, because I was gone for 2, and then you were gone last week.
We have taken a hiatus.
We have taken a hiatus.
We're so sorry to disappoint the fans. Every week, they're hitting us up like, we need this. We need a new episode, and you're killing us.
I know. I feel bad about it, but then you get caught up with things, and then or like scheduling conflicts happen.
Look, grow
But this
up,
week-
everyone. We'll be here when we're here.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point. This week we have a super special guest, one of my pals, one of my favorite comics in the city. You know her from her hour special. You know her from a ton of stuff. Rachel Feinstein, everybody.
Thanks, Sean. I
Thank you,
love Sean.
How can you not love Sean? Farrah
It's a
doesn't like
fine
him.
day. Everyone will love Sean.
Farrah gets sick of me sometimes. I can tell.
I don't believe it. I think she's very fond, like all of us.
Well, thank you for doing this. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. It's good to be here. It's time to get nasty. I have no idea what that means.
Podcast nasty.
Yeah.
You're at
Rach Unleashed. No rules, no apologies.
You are at Showbiz Studios, which is Alex's apartment that he has a podcast studio at. And what did you say about Alex?
He just has this absurd confidence, like that. He's always kind of barefoot and shorts. Just like I feel like he brings girls back here daily, and he's just like, "I'm gonna make you a star." It's just like, sit on my lap, sugar tits. Everything's gonna work out. He parades him around. He has that kind of like, he doesn't worry that he's not going to get laid. He's like, will it be Wednesday or Thursday I get laid? Which is better for me.
Right.
you
Well,
know?
Alex, in background, this is Alex's apartment. Alex literally has a collared, like, polo shirt on, and he's all tan because he just went to Jazz
Well,
Fest in
everyone
New Orleans.
knows him. Yeah, they
Everybody
know him,
knows him.
but Rachel's provided the best context for really
He
understanding
looks like he
who
graduated
he
from
is.
Rape Tech, and I do say that.
That's funny
This
because
is
that's
good because
not
the
him.
audience needs to know who he is, Alex.
Did you graduate from Rape Tech, Alex?
I said
Right,
that in a joke.
Rape? Was it Rape You or Rape Tech? But, well, thank you so much for doing
And
the
you
show.
know what? He's always so nice to me.
He is. He's a
Wow.
really nice guy.
So he doesn't deserve this. But
No.
when I walked in today, I asked right away if I could have some chips. And he said, you went to those chips really fast. Like, I've never seen anybody go to food that fast. Like, he had a strong reaction to how quickly I wanted the chip. Like, he was like, wow, never seen the likes of that. So I had to go back at you.
Do you think he was, like, negging you at first?
I think he
doing-
was. I didn't want to. Can we tell her the truth?
Were you negging? Were you when she came in?
Look,
were
we
you
already have
enlisting the
known
teachings
that
of
Alex
mystery?
really has a fondness for you.
No, he doesn't. I don't think I register as a woman to him at all.
That's the complete opposite.
That's what I feel. Is I feel like he just sees me and he's like, "Here, there's that hog going for the chips again." He's like, "Wow, look at her dive! Looking big rage on the chips."
Strap that feed bag on, Feinstein.
He was like really genuinely astonished, like he'd never seen the likes of that. But I got excited. I saw chips and I got excited, Alex.
I think he was just thinking of something to say.
I agree.
Okay.
I'm
I'm glad
with
I
Sean on
registered as a
this.
woman to him. I didn't think. You know, some
You
guys
are-
you're like, oh, they think I'm a woman, and some guys I'm like, I'm not even a woman for them. So
You
it's
are
fine.
100% a woman.
You're
Okay.
definitely
Well,
a
thanks.
woman, and I
Thank
think he
you.
was like, "What do I say? What do I say?"
I just tell her she's a real cow is what I'll do.
And he's a
I'll
really-
just imply that she's a cow that can't stop feeding.
If Alex and he didn't go to Rape You, let's Rape Tech. If he went to Rape Tech, you'd be protesting all the rape happening at Rape Tech. You'd be in the quad.
I
with
do
the-
think
with
you
the
would be
placard.
staunchly anti. Let me make
He
that very
is.
clear.
I have to say,
He's on the right side of rape.
He's a good
witches.
dude. Alex is a good guy.
he's a very good guy.
That's so funny. That is so funny. So you don't understand how excited I am that you said that. It was like, it's a rape tag. But that outfit is kind of rape taggy. And he was funny because he goes, "Oh, you know,
the low button.
I'm in my relaxed tan guy.
Well, he's
outfit."
home.
He's home, right?
is.
This is like relaxed for him. This is like, vacation kind of.
He doesn't have a care in the world.
Well, thank you for doing this. You're awesome. We were trying to figure out a movie for you to do to defend. We figured one out last minute in the 12th hour right before we started. So you're gonna defend that movie. But also, you brought up a great topic, which was you're a big fan of murder movies.
I love anything murder.
Anything murder. So like TV. Movies,
yeah.
podcasts.
I cannot go to sleep until I've seen like a few Forensic Files and a Wives with Knives, and I don't know what that says about me, but I need like back-to-back slayings.
Well, no, I think a lot of people. That's like a huge genre of people. Like, cause think about ID channel. That the whole channel is based on that. So, which I love. I love that stuff.
Murder crime. You like it too?
Oh, I love it. Yeah,
Love it.
But here's the thing. I think as far as the podcast goes, we should talk about murder movies. And actually, I thought of a good question. Farrah brought it up right before we started. Does murder movies, are they different than horror movies? And I would say absolutely yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely
I'm not
yes,
really
right?
that into horror. Yeah.
Either am I. But I do like murder movies. Like I like you can call
can
it
be like
thrillers.
thriller, suspense,
crime. Yeah.
Like if you look at one of the best. When I was trying to think of movies that we could talk about that you might like, or that Zodiac. I think Zodiac and Zodiac has like I think we looked it up one time on nobody defended it, but we looked it up one time on Rotten Tomatoes. It's got like 88%. Like it does really well. It's a really really good movie, but a lot of people didn't like it, and I think it's because I think you have to what you like. You like murder stuff. I think you have to like that to like Zodiac. It's not.
Definitely.
It's not your traditional.
I also
thriller.
like the psychology behind murder. I'm more pro murder than he is pro. I can't even finish this sentence because I'll get shit for it. But anyway, no, I'm not pro murder. But no, I like.
Take anything away from this. Rachel Feinstein is pro murder.
There's not enough murder in the world. That's what you should. If I was like being lower thirded, right? If there was something written beneath me and you could see me, that's what it would say. In quotes, there's not enough murder in this world. Just staunchly pro genocide and murder. No, but I was thinking like. I also like the psychology behind it. Like, I loved Silence of the Lambs. I like to know why people do things, and I'm fascinated with character profiling and, like, criminal profiling. I wish I had that ability. It's so cool.
Oh, my God. It would be amazing.
Yeah.
To have, you mean the ability to criminally profile somebody?
Yes.
Well, those people go to school. They have a knack for reading people, but they also go to school. And honestly,
cool.
I think you could do that.
Yeah,
you know why?
I think you'd be good.
And one of the main reasons is because for
I read
comics.
Alex, so...
You read Alex's outfit to a T. And also, as comics, like, I don't know about you. I also host a lot, but, like, as comics from the stage, I read people constantly. You can look at somebody and probably give them 3 facts about their life and freak them out. I've guessed names.
You are very good at that,
I've
Sean.
guessed names from the stage.
You are. I've seen your
seen it.
on-stage
4 or 5
insight.
times.
There's nothing like it. I have seen. You do
Yeah.
very
Read
quick
people.
on-stage insight. And you know who to scold, too.
Yeah.
You know who's going to be like a pre-asshole. When he's hosting, he'll be like, you're going to be a dick. He knows how to gently say to somebody, you're about to be a dick,
Yeah,
and I'm going to
don't be a
ask you
dick.
to not be a dick.
Right.
Yeah, you're very good at that.
But I think that also, as comics, you can just do that. Like, I think we all look at people so much. As long as you do a little bit of crowd work, you can sit there and go, oh, your name is probably this, and I know 3 things about you. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
You work, like, you get the job right or something else right. And that's basically all this criminal profiling stuff is. They're just like, it's just law of averages, I feel like, for these people.
Yeah, I read this book, and I was in the book. It was saying how like I think they did this kind of stuff in Silence of the Lambs, but basically there was a criminal profiler, and he was able to just look at crime scene photos and make a profile of the guy that did the crime. And one time it was up to the point where he was able to say he has a lisp, and he was right. He looked at crime scene photos and was able to say the killer has a lisp.
Wow.
But want to hear something even funnier? So I think that's really fascinating, and I like can't wait to talk about it. Like almost to the point where I can't read the room, where it's like nobody really wants to talk about criminal profiling right now. And,
Yeah.
You know, just like
that's like me with UFOs. I bring up UFOs. People are like, all right, I gotta go.
But it's so cool. So I was like shooting
That is
this thing for
interesting.
like it was when I was on set, and it was this sketch for the MTV Awards where Amy and Nikki were doing it. And it was Amy Schumer, Nikki was hosting, and Nikki Glaser and Bridget Everett and I were doing this sketch. And we were all hanging out and talking about movies and criminal profiling and something. And then I got really excited about this book that I read. And I was like, I read this book, and the guy, he could see crime scene photos, and he knew the killer had a lisp. And he was right. He just saw the photos, and he knew the killer had a lisp. And I was like, it's the best book I've ever read.
Why he knows? Why he knew?
He said that it was something that he could tell that the killer was self-conscious about something by the way that he committed the murders. And then he started going through what could he be self-conscious about by the way he approached and attacked the victims. He could tell whether the killer was like a shy guy or more of like an outgoing sociopath, or like, like the outside charmer, or the guy that was kind of withdrawn. And so he said he wasn't sure he had a list, but he started to go through what would be the thing, that, and he could see the crime happening. And then he decided it was yes. And he's like, I wasn't sure, but it turned out to be right. So anyway, I tell this whole story, and we're all standing there.
On set at the sketch.
And we're like standing by craft services, and everybody's just like snacking. I was going for the chips, Alex, like I do. I go for the chips, okay? Anyway, so I was sitting there snacking, and I was really proud of myself because everybody was like really into it, And I'm like, and then he knew the killer had a lisp, and people were having questions for me. I was like really holding court,
Yeah.
And people were like, well, how do you think that? And everybody was right there with me. And there were like some hot guys on set that were like doing like man things and like wiring and such as some Teamsters. And I felt like that I had the Teamsters right by the ball sack, which is another thing.
Which is a hard thing to do.
Yeah. But like in a good way, like a positive way.
Right.
So anyway, and then they're all asking questions. And then somebody was like, I was like, it's the best book I've ever read. And, this guy is fascinating, this criminal profiler. And then somebody goes, oh, yeah, what book is it? And then I just like shut down.
Oh, you blanked out on the title of the book?
And I declared it was the best book I'd ever read. and then I looked like a pathological liar.
You just made all this up. You looked like you were the killer. I killed all these people. I used to have a list, but now it's gone.
I looked like it was only a matter of time before I started slaying, before I started killing. And then it's even worse. Like if that had happened with a bunch of comedians, they would have started trashing me, and it would have been funny. Right. But it was like everybody started kind of gently dispersing, and people were and then one of the Teamsters was like very gentle with me, and he's like, well, do you know the author of the book? Like he was trying to help me. And then I couldn't think of the author either.
Oh, no.
And I had read that book like a couple times, and I knew the author really well. It's Mindhunter. But
I was going to ask you if you watched that on Netflix.
Yes, and that
before
in the book, it talks about that, and there's a chapter called "The Killer Had a Lisp." Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But this is like a couple years ago.
As you've been describing all this, I'm like, she's obviously seen Mindhunter.
Yes, and there was a chapter in that book called "The Killer Has a Lisp," and Mindhunter is the criminal profiler that Silence of the Lambs is based off of. So it's basically that guy, that criminal profiler in Silence of the Lambs. So anyway, I had all kinds of facts. I was really dazzling. And then I became a complete, like, not just a wild moron, but people wanted to get away from me. They were like, she's lying and something strange.
The Netflix series?
Did you ever hear...
It was way before that series came out.
Did you ever hear when they do that test? Because you wonder about this. Do you think those criminal profilers, do you think they are just a hair away from killing themselves? Like, do you think that they understand it so much because that's what they want to?
He talks about that. Like, he's like, you have to go, you have to become sick. You have to be in that guy's mind, hunting a woman, like
method.
And he's like, you go through it from both perspectives. From the perspective of the perpetrator and the victim, and it becomes so intense that he had like a full collapse. The guy that Silence of the Lambs is based on, like he went into the hospital because he's a guy who coined the term serial killer, and that's all he was thinking about. It's like vicious, sadistic murder, and it's not a fun-loving topic. For me, it is.
Right.
If you're really seeing these pictures and stuff, he said he would go to sleep and he would look at the crime scene photos right before he went to bed and try to solve them in his sleep because he had so many cases. So he would try to push himself to dream that maybe he would figure out something in his dreams. And then he just had a full breakdown, like went to the hospital.
Did you ever hear that, real quick, do you ever hear the test before? I'll ask you guys, see if you can figure it out. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, there's a grown woman. Her brother dies. And she goes, they're in their 40s, whatever it is. She goes to the funeral in the wake of her brother. While she's there, she meets a guy. They hit it off immediately. They're talking the whole time. She pretty much falls in love right away. But she doesn't get his number, and she never doesn't have any way to contact him and see him again. That night, she goes home and kills her sister. Why?
Wait. I'm so confused.
What?
Okay. This girl goes. Her brother
dies. She goes to the funeral. She meets a guy.
They hit it off immediately. She falls head over heels in love. They're talking the whole time, but she doesn't get his name and doesn't get his number. Forgets. Goes home. Next day, goes over, kills her sister. Why?
Kills her own sister?
Yeah.
After her brother died.
Right.
After she met this guy she really liked at the funeral.
Right.
I'm worthless. That's the thing. That's why I admire it so much, because I can't.
No, you know what it is? Well, it fits into what we're talking about.
She's the sister.
No.
It's some kind of
hoping the guy will show up again. Oh. So that's supposed to test if you're a sociopath or not.
Oh.
So the logic there is, my brother died, this guy showed up. If I kill my sister, the guy will show up.
I'm so proud of myself for
not
being a sociopath.
I was nowhere
because I've been very sure.
I didn't get it either. I didn't get it when somebody told me that first.
I've been certain I'm a sociopath, so now I know I'm not. This is a big relief.
Isn't that crazy?
That is fascinating.
Yeah. So that kind of fits in the same kind of thing where it's like, you're like he said, like that profiler says, your mind has to go into how would a killer think, and that's how a killer thinks.
You have to become sick.
But
you have to become to some extent sick.
I've been watching The Sopranos, which is TV, and we're going to talk movies in a second, but The Sopranos are all, it's funny to me because you never know, are you born a sociopath or is it nature or nurture? I think it's nurture, right? Because
no, I think certain people are. My brother's a therapist, and he's he's treated some people who were sociopaths, and he said usually you are born a sociopath, but but the nurture can make it better or worse. Like you could get better. You could, but some people, there's like some brilliant guy that studies sociopaths. I can't remember what his name is, but he, again, I have no information. But anyway, he was talking about, like I saw him on the news talking about how he discovered in his research that he was a sociopath, but
he read a paragraph.
He was
like, that's
properly nurtured. So he has to constantly remind himself to feel and to like push to try to understand, to feel. Sometimes empathy is a lot of work for certain people, but if it's like a terrible cocktail of being like that naturally and then growing up where you're really like abused or neglected by one of the parents, or you witness things that are it's like this cocktail. But I think both parts have to be there.
It's like that movie I think you saw Thoroughbreds, didn't you?
No.
Thoroughbreds, you guys see it? Mm-mm. Oh, one of the characters in the movie is like a straight up sociopath, and she teaches the other one how to like cry on cue, and she just doesn't feel anything. And it's actually a really cool movie. I definitely
think people are born it, and
I think they are.
I'm way the opposite, but like too much. I have too much emotion about anything, and I'll weep at the drop of a hat, like at a commercial or something.
But when you hear about mafia guys and you hear about them being sociopaths, it just can't be like everybody from the same neighborhood is sociopaths. No, right. I think they are learned. Their sociopathy is learned as they're hanging out with this crew of guys.
Yes,
it's like unlocked.
Yeah, and I think, but that's more sadism than sociopathy.
Yeah. They're like
I think
in
sociopathy
a group.
is when you really have no feelings at all. But then becoming sadistic is more of
yeah.
But I mean, I think also like that there's that thing with charming sociopaths. They say are also often very charming, and it's very easy for them to emulate people that have feelings and have they're very
they
good
have
at
to
it.
fake it to go through life. Yeah,
they
that's
becomes almost better at it.
Because one of the most interesting parts about it.
Like I realize I give terrible first impressions. Like I'll be like dazzled by someone that'll turn out to be like a raging, like awful asshole. What a remarkable man! Like incredible character. That's happened to me many times. Like because I get charmed very easily.
Yeah.
So I like upon first meeting, and then they'll be just a toxic, like just a complete shitbag.
That happens in comedy all the time to me, where I'm like, oh, we're both comics, we're friends now. And then after a while, you're like, oh no.
Yeah, you have a horrifying character.
Yeah. You're not a good person. No. But let's talk about what I want to do is we figured out what makes a good murder movie, and I think like some of your favorites, like I said, Zodiac, I think was amazing because it literally went by the book on how that investigation went.
Yes.
So those guys, they literally, that's why a lot of people checked out on that movie, because it was like 2.5 hours long, and they literally just told you the facts of that movie. Like there was no real spin on it. It was pretty by the book on how they did whatever book it was based on. There was one of the guys, the newspaper guys that was involved, and one of the cops. It was how just straight up the investigation went. And that movie, spoiler alert, leaves you not wondering what the hell who it was, what the hell happened. So I'm wondering, do you consider Zodiac a good movie? Did you watch Zodiac?
Yes, I think it's awesome.
It's awesome, right?
I love it. Yeah.
But you have movies like that I think are like tried and true and like actually authentic, and then you have, like I was saying, I think before we started, like Along Came a Spider with Morgan Freeman, where it's sensational, and it's like based off a novel, and it's literally like you guess who it is in like the first 10 minutes of the movie. Like with I think it was Long Came a Spider. It's Carrie Elways is the guy in it. You're like, oh, it's Carrie Elways. Like right away, you're like it's Princess Bride. He's the guy. He's the killer. Like out of nowhere, whatever it is. And then, but then there's supposed to be a big reveal towards the end where it's like, oh no, he's the murderer. He's the real guy keeping all these girls. Or Kiss the Girls. That was the one. That's the first one in that group. So my thing is, what factors have to go into a movie for you to be like, holy shit? Because you see so many murder, you like so much murder stuff. You're at the point now where you're like almost like an armchair sleuth. Like you could.
Did you love Mindhunter?
I loved Mindhunter. I mean, I read the book. It's very different from the book.
Really?
But I still thought it was a really excellent show.
What was the last murder movie that left you, if you can remember? If not, no problem.
I don't know the name, but maybe somebody at home will tell me what I'm talking about.
The one that actually surprised you.
Yeah. Well, it was like kind of awful, but I loved it. So it was this movie about the mafia, and it was like a TV movie. And at one point during the movie, this guy walks the woman out to this like gazebo, and his wife, and she's wearing like a long, like kind of white silk thing, like a thing that women never wear, except if somebody hands them that on the set.
It's a very mafia outfit.
Yeah, it was like a long white silk nightgown and a white, like the way no woman actually dresses for bed, but in the movies,
For her boudoir, that's what it's for.
Exactly. Yeah. And so she was wearing some like long slinky negligee, like something you would just only see in like a Cialis commercial. And he like held her hand and walked her out to this gentle gazebo, and he had like 2 glasses of wine, and then he was like, darling, and you thought it was going to be like this romantic moment. And then he takes this napkin. Please, somebody tell me what movie this is. And he puts like chloroform or something in it, some substance in it, some dying substance. And then he's just like, and she's like turns around for a minute, and then he just is like, yeah, shut up, Eileen. Just like, well, that's enough of you, Eileen.
And he kills her.
And then he just kills her. And it haunted me. I couldn't stop thinking about it. It also struck me as like, that's exactly, and tell me if you feel the same way, that's exactly what I want to do to myself when I watch myself on stage. Like if I watch a tape of myself doing stand-up.
Oh, I despise it.
I want Good Night Eileen myself. He's just like, good night Eileen. Like, that's enough out of you. And I'm like, that's exactly what I want to do. When I see a tape of myself strutting around stage, like really using the space, I'm like, oh, shut up forever. It's time for you to be put down, just like Eileen and her nightie.
Well, so you're telling me the reason it was this mafia TV movie. It was probably on Lifetime.
I know. I want to try to find out what this is.
I think it was Lifetime. Somebody help me realize what it is.
And it really was Eileen.
So it was
I'm not sure if it was Eileen or that's just the substitute wife name I put.
Well, Good Night Irene is what they use in Kiss the Girls at the end of the song Good Night Irene.
Oh.
Like that's the whole thing. And I think her name is Irene, maybe.
I don't think I named her Eileen, but I don't really know what the wife's name was.
The point of
it could
being
be like Good Night Kathy or something.
But the reason you liked it so much is because you watched tons of this and you were not expecting that to happen. They set it up like it was just a romantic.
I did not expect
like
it.
Earlier in the movie, there's no trajectory where you're like, oh, she's gonna get killed.
Also, like for all my learning,
gazebo.
really easy to trick. Like I'm extremely gullible. Like you remember that in I don't know if anybody saw this episode of The Simpsons where they're trying to get Homer to join this cult, but he's too like dumb to brainwash.
No, it's not a cult. It's for the witness relocation program.
Right. You're asking. I love that you know what episode.
That's one of the best scenes in the world.
And then he's like, they keep showing him the movie, and
he goes, when I say hello, Mr. Thompson, you say hello. And he goes, hello, Mr. Thompson. He doesn't do anything. They go, hello, Mr. Thompson. He doesn't do anything. And they go, hello, Mr. Thompson. And he goes to the next guy. The guy next to him, he goes, I think he's talking to you. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes.
He goes, all right, now when I tap your foot and hit your arm, say hello, and they do it. And
I kind of relate to Homer because I'm not good with directions either. Like, I'm really bad with directions. Like, again and again in my life, people have been like, Rachel, I just told you to do that very thing. But they keep showing him some movie that's supposed to get him hypnotized again and again. Do you remember that?
Oh, that's a different one.
Oh, maybe it's a different episode. Maybe I remember them both. I've seen them
but
both.
Same kind of gag.
They show him the same movie again and again. And in the end, he's supposed to want to be part of this cult. But he's too dumb to hypnotize. And they show it to him, and they're like, "So, what are your thoughts when the movie starts?" And then he's like, "Well, I think that one guy was probably working for the other guy the whole time." And they're like, "No, it's not that kind of movie."
I think that's something different. That's different than the Witness Relocation Program.
Yes,
the Witness Relocation Program is one of the best episodes ever. It's the Cape Fear one when he goes.
Oh yes, the Cape Fear one. Okay,
yeah, it's so good.
It
All
is
right,
awesome.
so if you type in murder, I typed in murder movies to get an idea of what the internet considers murder movies. I guess you have the original one, the original classic, which is Psycho. Psycho kind of started all the thrillers, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, and it's Psycho. I think is great. I watched Psycho.
Scary. The Shining also really disturbed me.
The Shining. That's a murder movie.
Oh, and Pet Cemetery. That one was really terrifying.
Now, is The Shining a murder movie or a horror movie?
Maybe that's horror. Also,
It's
Pet
horror,
Cemetery
right?
is horror too.
Yeah. Pet
Well,
Pet
I
Cemetery.
did. I
but-
googled Lifetime movie killer chloroform gazebo and nothing.
Well, mafia type mafia.
really
in there.
coming up.
Mafia. I'm not sure if he killed her
There's
with chloroform,
fiancé
but it was
killer.
some sort of. It was something in like a little washcloth, and he just kind of wash. Or he had like a little man
I
napkin.
feel
or
like if I
something, and he
did
just-
get murdered, that sounds like a fine way.
What?
Seems
Chloroform?
pretty quick.
Well, you don't know what happened after. We got chopped up.
Yeah, but she wouldn't have known when she
But
was
that's
being
better.
chopped.
Yeah, the things
Oh,
that really
yeah.
disturb me is when there's like for no reason at all they torture them before killing them.
Do you know
that's not
why
fun.
she was killed in the story of the?
What if I was like, I'm kind of into that? Actually, I like the pre-charger. It's like, I'm actually pretty open to that.
It's foreplay.
Oh, let me ask you this one. This is a popular one. Is this a good American Psycho? Good movie.
Yes, great movie.
Okay,
Yeah.
now American Psycho. What? That's your favorite, right? Yeah. Is that your favorite movie? Oh, don't tell Rachel that. She already thinks that you're like a rape tech guy.
I know it doesn't
He
go
loves
with the image.
it. He would
of
love
the
if
guy
we
that
did a
lives
whole
here.
episode talking about him. He would love it.
American Psycho. You love it? Do you
But-
think? All right. Let me ask you this guy. Let's talk about this.
This apartment is kind of like that, where it does seem like a little bit American Psycho. Because there's not even the normal lived-in feeling.
record
It's not
your
just
podcast.
No,
neat.
on the other side there is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because here there's like no
it's so
stain.
neat.
There's no like
no,
yeah,
it's so
specks of
neat
light.
all around.
What?
It's very neat and
Hey,
clean
but
all
because
around.
it's a clean person.
I was seeing this guy once, and I remember I was about to get in bed with him, and he was like, "Oh, can you make sure to." Something annoying, like wash your face really well before. And I'm like, what?
Oh my God.
Fuck
Oh my
you.
God.
You know? Like, I feel like that would be those kinds of
That's
rules.
the craziest request. Make
Alex,
sure
do you have that
scrub.
rule?
He was just like scrubbed down really well. And I'm like, yeah, you're I was going to put out, but now it's over.
Now it's gross.
Do you let girls go in your bed in street clothes?
I remember a long
yeah.
time ago, a girl got mad at me for not. I was staying over for not turning the water off in between brush strokes, like tooth. While I was brushing my teeth,
come on.
for letting the water run the entire time. She's like, "You're wasting water." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" I'm like, "It's 30 seconds to be brushing my teeth." She wanted me to like wet the brush, and then you know what I'm saying,
get
wet the
outta
brush. It's crazy, right?
Get out of here. I'm about to
Now
pick
look
that
at our
washcloth.
environment. Thanks to you,
It's all
Sean.
me. It's all my fault. Let's go to the movie. We talked about the horror movies for a little bit. Let's go to the movie you're going to defend because we have a little bit of time left. And there's not much. This is a movie that I like. So it's one of those things where it is a bad. I know it's a bad movie, so I can play devil's advocate on this movie. But it's one of those things that's like part of your childhood. So it like my childhood, it was part of my childhood.
Yes,
so
yeah.
it makes you go like, oh shit, okay, I know it's bad, but I still love it. And that's the Michael J. Fox vehicle, Secret of My Success.
Yes.
Have to pull it up.
Oh, it's one of those movies that not everybody knows about because it was in that like Michael J. Fox heyday, which was like after Back to the Future, but also like before the sequels.
Well, I was
when he
a
like,
little
really
girl
hot.
when I first saw it, and
Me
I
too. I
had to
was
get
a little girl as well.
And you were a lovely little girl, and I had to get like. I would go through all this testing when I was a kid, and I would get to watch movies before a test night. So, like, it was like they were trying to figure out which learning disability I had. So they put like suction cups in my brain. I think it was like an EKG. Or something.
I thought you
my
were
God, I had the
testing
same
the
thing.
movie.
You had that too?
EKG, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And then they put stuff in your hair, and it's all nasty.
and it's all weird.
yeah, I
and-
had EKG.
And so everybody's trying to figure out what's wrong with me. So because I think they could tell that this might be kind of hurtful, this nonstop examining of like what in God's name could be wrong with me. That I get like special things
Or
the
like
night
she's a
before.
comedian.
And I think you were also supposed to stay up late or something
Yes.
before you
You're
had the
supposed to-
EKG.
Yep,
Yeah.
you are. Yes, you are.
So my mom was like, "You get to watch like a special R-rated movie," you know? And so we had like a special night before your "Are You a Moron?" test the next morning. you
See,
know?
it's funny. That's why it sticks out in your brain because you're
Yeah.
literally having a brain test.
I was.
and we talk about that a lot. Like circumstances of how you watch a movie the first time can kind of dictate if you stay with it or if you don't, or if you like it later on in life or if you don't, or like you have these
Yeah.
fond
But
Wait,
memories.
so this
So
isn't a
true.
murder movie?
No.
From what I pulled up?
No, it's a comedy, but I wanted to talk about the murder stuff because I thought it was interesting.
Oh, okay.
And I think it was. And then I'll put on top of it also the movie she's
This
defending is Secret of My Success. Because it is technically a bad movie, but you
Yes.
liked it because it was like
Nonsense.
your first taste of like adult movies.
Yeah, and I loved it. I like anything that has to do with like office flirtation. I just wanted to go to an office.
Like
and a man
Working
would
Girl
flirt
back
with
in
me
the
in the
day?
office. Yeah, I loved
I
anything
love
like
Working
that.
Girl.
Is anything where like heels click and stuff and
Yes.
and men are making passes. Like it just seems so exciting. Like, one day I'll be a woman and a man will make a pass at me.
And it's true. There was so many of those back in the day like that.
Yeah, they would say pass. They'd be like, your husband made a pass at me.
Oh my God.
And then you would have women in these movies that were like 25 or 30, but they looked like they were 45 years old, or they acted like they were 45, like these like cougar-ish type, like that woman who is the cougar in this movie, the one that like hits on him, who turns out to be his aunt,
Her name's Vera.
Vera, in the movie.
It's such a preposterous
Oh,
situation.
it's so stupid.
And she's his aunt.
She's his aunt.
Why would he not know his own aunt? Why would she not know her son? She's
like,
seducing her nephew.
He's from some farm in Kansas.
Yeah.
That's almost every movie's like
She'd
that.
never
Where,
see a
like,
photograph of her own nephew. It's such a
Oh,
preposterous
it's so. And
situation.
also, it's preposterous that like somebody got fired and he just took over their job. Like he just tore up the pink slip and he's like, okay, I'm just this guy now. Like that's basically the plot of the movie.
He pretends to be this other guy, and there's a lot of upstairs, downstairs hijinks and all kinds of wacky things happen.
Yeah,
And
it's like that's another thing why it didn't survive. It's super 80s. Like it's very
so 80s,
It's like it's like the comedy version of Wall Street. Like when Wall Street came out, like it's like that. It has that vibe, the same haircuts, the same everything. So
yes,
that
and it
goes
was like
away.
all about like, and also the aunt, like the way she seduced him. It was just all seemed like I want to be a woman. So these series of things that will probably never happen to you in just that way. You know, like every outfit she wore. Again, it was like the negligee. It's like I would never like look like that and that.
Yeah.
Like she's one of those women who wore a bathing cap and somehow it looked nice. Like if I put on a bathing cap, I would just look slovenly and heinous. You know.
So
Also,
they
it had-
find out that it's his aunt?
By the end, yeah.
Yes.
They find out like
Which is the second movie where he almost fucks somebody in his family.
Yes.
It's Back to the Future, he almost fucks his mom.
That's right.
And now he's almost fucking his aunt.
yeah, it's just like Michael J. Fox, king of incest movies. But it's also a thing where they have the 80s soundtrack where every other minute's like boom, bow, bow. Like everything's like the song from Ferris
And where
Bueller's.
rich people are just like, there's nothing in between very rich and then just your average poor more. And the rich people just throw the peasants their keys. They just throw their keys at people.
Yeah.
And they're like, take care of my royals.
There's no difference. There's no cool rich people. They're all assholes.
Yeah, they're all just terrible bitches. like in Trading Places where he comes to the rich people party and it's like a very cold rich party. But he's arrived. Like there are no more rules. And then he pulls the fish out of his Santa jacket.
Yeah.
Like I love stuff like that. I like anything class makes me laugh. Like where where like people are trying to pretend to be classy.
Right.
You know?
And those movies, because of how the 80s were, that it read to people so well because there was that kind of difference.
Yes.
Because of all those stock people and those finance people. Like, all the Wall Street was such a big deal that back then it was like there really was that just the two different worlds. So that's what it was. So he wanted to be this big success. He got there. He tried to get some normal job, but his uncle just felt obligated and just gave him a job in the mailroom. So from there, he faked being. He just like took this. I don't know. The guy got fired, right? The guy got some other guy got
Took
fired.
his identity
and then he becomes like this star in the corporate part of it. So then he has to be mailroom for half the day and then also corporate guy for the other half of the day.
Which makes no sense.
And at the same time, he's falling in love with Helen Slater, who is not Christian Slater's sister, by the way, which I thought for the most of my life. I thought Helen Slater was. She played Supergirl. She was like a star for like
the
5
beautiful
years.
girl in The Office, but where there's always like a scene where she takes her glasses off and people are like, oh,
yeah. The she's all that syndrome. Yeah,
she's just like directly hot. There's no like, whoa, wait a second, you're hot. And it's like,
I feel like this is a movie I would like.
You should check it out.
You
They have
get into it.
every trope from like an 80s comedy because they even have like a Three's Company style mix up at the end of it where they're all at the same like vacation house and they're all trying to sleep with each other and they're going to different bedrooms.
They're
and
like they're sneaking around at night. It is the dumbest thing in the world. Everybody's like tiptoeing into everybody's rooms and slamming into them. And there's always something like that in the 80s movie. There's like the boss that's like, hey, just come on this retreat with me. There's always like some gross trip involved or something like that. Or like,
So if you had to say, because we have to wrap up pretty soon, if you had to say what you want to defend it on the show, it's very laid back. What are the 3 reasons that you defend the movie? Would it be because it was part of your EEG? EEG, I think it was. EKG is different.
It was part of my moron exam, so it's very personal to me. Because I remember that night, because I remember my parents arguing about whether I needed the moron exam or not. And I remember my dad going, she's not normal. So So
I think that's why I had the same thing. I had all these tests for the same reason.
yeah, they just wanted to know like
Learning
why
disability.
I wouldn't, for the love of God, focus.
funny.
There was like this.
Did you have ADD?
Yeah.
Oh, so did I.
Yeah, like, and
Did
real
you take
bad.
Ritalin?
Yes.
Oh, so did I.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, and it's hard because everybody now says they have. It's the popular thing, and it's
Yep.
like, no, you don't really know, like
Yeah.
how crippling your life can
And
be.
it's the only disease people say they have casually.
They
Like,
all-
they'll
they're all
go,
like, yeah, I got
I'm so
that.
ADD. Like I think I have it as an adult. I just don't take anything for it. Do you take
Yes,
stuff for it?
not anymore,
Yeah,
but
me
I
neither.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember like. They had a math tutor for me, and it turned out later he was a pedophile, and his name was Mr. File, and he was actually a pedophile, and he molested everyone but me, and I think it's because I was so bad at math. I don't even remember
He
him
really
like
had to do. He had to do the
Yes.
tutoring.
Mr.
He had
File.
no time. He had no time to molest you.
And he was so angry. My own stupidity saved me from an early molestation.
What a
He'd be like,
blessing.
Come on, Rachel. I just explained that. I gave you several analogies. What else could you possibly
Less
need?
hot to him because
Yeah, he
he
thought
my
I was
God.
gross. He had it.
I'm so happy for you.
I'm relieved that you didn't get molested.
Me too.
But that's fucking hilarious.
I don't even remember him looking at me funny. He was just always so angry and just fed up by the end of our sessions.
Oh, my God.
Because I had just not gotten a gram smarter. And I
That
had
is
to think about
goddamn
that.
hilarious.
It's
Okay,
like, you're not giving me any time to molest you.
we have to wrap up, but please just give me a couple of reasons why you're defending the movie technically, because
Okay.
people need to watch this movie. It's if you want.
I mean,
kids
it's got
now love
everything.
80s stuff.
91% of Google users do like
Well,
this
they love
movie.
everything. You could put a fucking
55% Rotten
I mean, it's a
Tomatoes.
technically garbage nonsense.
bad.
Yeah.
which
55%
is also
is
a
bad.
genre of movie, garbage nonsense. But it's a fun-loving film, and it's got, if you don't think or you don't care to think very much during it, it's got something for everything. The whole family can enjoy themselves. There's like a seduction. There's office flirtation. If you're a money guy, there's there's some stock market peppered in there. There's
Michael
a
J. Fox in
whisper of
there.
this. Michael J. Fox. When he was young and spry, pre-park, you've got pre-park Michael J. Fox. I mean, there was a lot of fun
Pre-park.
to be had. Yeah, and I love any office thing. I like anything that's not supposed to happen. That's gonna happen.
And also,
anyway.
it's things that really you don't have that anymore. You don't have Working Girls or Secret of My Success anymore because that whole culture is gone. Well, we have to get out of here. But thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. That was
you
so
were
fun.
so awesome. What would you like to plug?
You could watch my Netflix special, season 2 of the stand-ups, or I'll be at where am I going to be? Sorry.
This comes out Friday.
Just go to my Twitter. I'll be at Mohegan Sun next weekend, May 10th through 11th, and my Twitter is at Rachel Feinstein. There'll be more info there.
And Farrah, do you want to say anything? Plug anything? Anything?
Friday.
Friday? It's coming out Friday.
Friday. Then this coming Wednesday, Rent Party at Union Hall.
Yay!
We have such a good lineup. It's going to be so fun.
And
Come through.
I'm at Shoney Time on Instagram and Twitter, and check out Showbiz Studios on YouTube and also on iTunes, and check out Rape Tech for their graduation ceremony they're having pretty soon. Thank you so much to Showbiz. Thank you so much, Rachel, and we will see you next week, and we love you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Yay!
My